Introduction. A government is a body that has the authority to create and enforce laws in a society. In other words, a government manages a society. A good government is supposed to regulate man's interactions in a society because a man is basically selfish. Thus, with a government it can ensure that man behaves in a way that is good for the whole society. The government can be said to reward those who do good and punish those who err. This discussion will look at the role of the government. Discussion. The government has a major role to play in an economy. This is especially true in a capitalist society. It has the role of ensuring that there is a fair playing ground for all the stakeholders involved in the economic activities. The government determines the amount of cash in the society. It also controls interest rates, inflation, the tax rates through the decision it makes. Thus, the government determines the kind of lifestyle its citizens live. The government also ensures that people are protected and safe as they do their daily activities in businesses. The government protects the public health by ensuring that the businesses provide a safe environment for their workers. For instance, the United States Food and Drug Administration prohibits harmful drugs. Occupational Safety and Health Administration ensures that all workers are protected from hazards in workplaces. Thus, the government should ensure regular inspections are done in business to ensure safety. On the other hand, the businesses have a moral obligation to ensure that the workplace is conducive as the employees are obligated to work effectively. Thus, they should avoid being late to work or surfing the internet during working hours. The government has the moral obligation of providing for the needs of those who are unable to do so within the market forces. It provides insurance payments to its citizens who lose their employment, and in times of natural disasters the government gives low-cost loans to the people who lose their homes and properties. The government has to ensure that people who cannot afford food do not starve by giving food stamps. The government also has the role of protecting the rights of the individuals. It does this by ensuring that force is not used to control individuals, and this ensures that men live peacefully free from the fear of violence. When force is used, a man is denied his rights because when it is used man against man it stops his mind. It prevents man from speaking his mind and protection against being robbed of his property. Thus, for man to live in a free society the laws must be enforced. This is the role of the government, so that even the rights of the minority are protected. According to Ruggiero, the basic principle in a society is morals. This means respect for other people. When individuals are morally upright, they cannot make decisions that violate the rights of others. This is a fundamental principle that has three components. One is that every human being should be considered as worthy. Secondly, human beings should be treated with dignity and not as mere chattels, and lastly, persons should never be treated as expendables in undertakings. This principle ensures that societies are ethical, and thus the government has a role to ensure that human beings are treated properly in the society. However, different societies interpret the word person in various ways. In some, it means any human being, thus every person allowed freedoms, while in others it may either denote a member of a certain group or tribe. This means that freedom is enjoyed only by members of a certain group or society. Therefore, those who do not belong to such a faction are not entitled to enjoy their freedom. They include groups such as slaves or non-citizens who do not have the right to own property and also not fully protected by the government. A good example is the Roman Empire. It is very important that the government and the citizens understand their obligation in order to be moral. Every decision one makes is bound to affect others. This means that there are things that one can or cannot do to others. The government has a moral obligation to protect its citizens. For example, it should not allow corruption as it leads to running down the economy. On the other hand, the citizens should ensure that they do right, for example paying taxes to avail money to the government to use to protect them. Conclusion. In conclusion, the government plays a very important role and we cannot do without it. It ensures that there is order in the society by enforcing laws and punishing those who break them. Therefore, the members of the society should be willing to obey the laws of the land to ensure peaceful coexistence where every person is free to pursue their needs. On the other hand, the government should play its fundamental role of protecting the rights of its citizens. This is by putting in place a police force to enforce the laws and an army to protect the country from external attacks. The justice system should also be reformed or made in a way that it serves all the citizens fairly, such that cases of unjust convictions or denial of fair trials are not witnessed in courts. This will ensure that citizens are free to engage in economic and social activities for the development of the society if the society is peaceful. Consequently, the government will be able to perform its duties towards its citizenry when the society is peaceful. You can find this and many other essay samples on our website, studycorgi.com.